Hey Jack Squad, how's everybody doing? Make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe, as well as make it happen for yourself, right? Gotta make it happen for yourself. I've been doing stuff on YouTube all of the day, right? I'm a firm believer in making it happen for yourself, right? Now, I'm going to start a series of commentary called Living with a Narcissist, right? Now, for you that know and for you that don't know, I was in a long-term relationship. It was over 10 years, and then the years after that, even just till recently, we were on speaking terms, right? And he still did things for me, so on and so forth, right? Yeah, there's a slightly tragic end to that, but that all of that will be in my book. I may discuss it here, right? But to start the series, I want to start off with telling you guys about love bombing. Now, before I get started, please like, please share, please subscribe. I also have memberships available, so please join my membership. There'll be a lot of exclusivity going on in there, right? But anyway, this series, like I said, is called Living with a Narcissist, okay? And the first thing I want to talk about, because this is what happens first. If this doesn't happen, nothing else happens, right? So the first thing I want to talk about is called love bombing, right? And love bombing is a form of psychological or emotional abuse. Now, I'm going to tell you what it feels like, right? Didn't feel like abuse, no way. It felt like the best time of my life, right? When I met my guy, my ex, it was like a whirlwind, right? Let me just finish with the definition and then we'll discuss a little bit. I'll commentate a little bit, right? It is often disguised as excessive flattery. They just love everything about you. You are the greatest, right? Initially, you feel safe, secure, and swept off your feet, and that's the feeling. When I started doing my research on narcissism, right, I didn't even know that he was a narcissist. I just thought he was playing crazy. After a while, right? He was textbook, and narcissism has a spectrum, like autism, right? It is a disorder, and it goes from here to there. My ex was all the way at the end of the spectrum, according to what I've been reading, right? It was textbook, the worst end. With the exception of he didn't never put his hands on me, right? Probably because he was too old. I had grown sons. He thought I'd kill him. I don't know why. But that never happened, right? But the psychological abuse, crazy, right? So initially, like I said, they sweep you off your feet, and it's a whirlwind, and that's what it feels like. I remember I was working a menial job. It was a time in my life where I had lost my career, and I was working a very menial job, paying, it probably was minimum wage. I think it was, right? I still had one son, young son left in the home, and so I still had somebody to take care of. So when I meet this guy who seems to be the greatest thing on earth, right? Let me finish with the explanation. So the ultimate goal of a narcissist, right, is to seek and to gain control. They want to control you. They want to manipulate you, right? And make you dependent on them. See, all those are key components. They want to seek control. They want to make you feel safe and secure. That's what all women, we want to feel secure with our guy. We want to feel secure with our guy. The three magic words I love to hear is, I got you. We all want to hear that, I got you. We all want to feel loved and protected. Women want to feel protected. I don't care how loud we talk, how much we curse, how much we fight. We want to feel protected, right? Ultimately, we want to feel protected, okay? And love bombing, which I did not know. I always thought, once I found out about it, I thought it was intentional. But reading up on later readings say it can be intentional or unintentional, right? My question is, I always thought, and we'll get into this later on in the commentary, down the line, is do they know what they're doing? Do they know what they're doing? Or is this just a pattern that they have created and don't know any better? This is just what they're used to doing because this is what suits them, right? It is driven by a person's insecurities, inability to trust, and dependence on other people. So they need you. They feed off of you. Whatever it is that they need, they suck. They're like succubuses, right? The name of the sickness is called Narcissistic Personality Disorder, NPD. Narcissistic Personality Disorder. And what I have been finding out, I had a girlfriend while I was still with this guy tell me years ago that her ex was a narcissist. And I'm like, oh, that's a mighty big word. No, he ain't. That's what she would tell me that, and I would, in my mind, say, narcissist? No, he ain't. Not quite understanding what a narcissist was, right? These are manipulators and controllers. And like I said, there's a spectrum, right? And probably the younger they are, the more physically abusive they could probably be. That's what I'm going to say. And they may not be physically abusive at all, because it's all a mind game. It's all a mind game, right? To get you to be who they want you to be for them, right? Like I said, my ex, when I first met him, where did I meet him? Oh, I met him at a club, right? I met him at a club, and let me tell you how it all ties in. We'll talk about that later. But they're demonic. But anyway, I will talk about that later on down the line in the series, right? But I met him at a very, very vulnerable time in my life. And I often think, did I look vulnerable? Because I pride myself on trying not to be looking vulnerable. But I was at a very low point in my life. Very low point emotionally, financially, spiritually. I was rebuilding my spirituality, because I knew that was the only thing that was going to get me over, right? So when I prayed and asked God to send me a man, right? A good man, and God said to me, what you going to give me, right? And I said, I'm going to give up drugs, alcohol, and cigarettes, okay? So when the man come to me, I thought he was the answer to my prayer. You understand what I'm saying? I was vulnerable. I had thought I was being obedient to God for myself, and he sent me this great man. Oh my God, I've hit the jackpot. I have hit the jackpot, right? Now, there was never any forcing of anything. Whatever I wanted, whatever I needed, it was right away, right? This was the beginning of the relationship. I'll never forget, I had a conversation with him. And I remember that night, when I met him, and he walked me to my car, and he asked me for a kiss, and I was like, whoa, hey, it's too much right now, right? And he was okay with that, okay? Wasn't no back talk, nothing. And he had said that his phone was dead, and he would give it me later. So then I'm thinking he's a lie. His phone ain't dead. Whose phone get dead, right? And then we did speak later, and I want to say he invited me to eat or something, right? And he didn't drive, right? He didn't drive because he was afraid to drive, right? So he didn't drive, but he always had someone to take him where he wanted to go. He didn't have a problem. All his friends had cars. They all had very nice cars. He just didn't drive, right? And so it was not a problem, because he was so, what you doing right now? Come on, get me. I'm fill up the tank. We're going to go here. We're going to go there. So it wasn't a problem, right? And I remember this menial job that I had. Every day I was a home health aide, so I would be at someone's home, right? I would be at someone's home, and every day it was, come get me, we're going to do this. Come get me, we're going to do that. That's how I live. I live for excitement. I live for something to do. I live for fun. That's what I live for, right? So, and I had no money. So this was what I needed, and like I said, I had prayed. Now, years later, a guy told me, a guy that was interested in me told me that, and I never thought about it. As spiritual as I am, as Christian as I try to be, I never thought about that. He said the devil will give you what you want as well. Now, this was years back, so let's say this was 15, 20 years ago. I was not as evolved as I am now. I know that now. And, this is me coming off the heels of being in the streets and doing what I wanted to do, right? I'm trying to live the right life, okay? So here God is rewarding me with this wonderful man who money was not a problem. Whatever I asked for, he gave me. The initial period of dating was wonderful, wonderful, right? I remember there was a time in the beginning where we went wherever, concert. I remember we went to see Cirque du Soleil, concerts, outings. It was not a problem, right? What I come to realize years later was that he was not interested in that. He was just doing that for me. This was all a plot. This was all a ploy, right? He was not a bit more interested. You know, as time went on, like I said, I was with this man over 10 years. And we dealt with each other on a friendship basis until just recently, right? You know, I've been single for 5 years. So I've been knowing him about 15 years, right? He was not a bit more interested in that stuff. And you know, when time went on and I realized he wasn't interested, I said that had to be hard to fake who you really are. But they're good at that. That's what manipulators do, right? And every day from work, and I would tell the person I was taking care of what we did the day before, and she was excited for me, right? I'd be like, girl, guess what we did today? And guess where we gonna go today? And then while I'm talking to her, he would call me or text me, and what you want to do that? Yes, girl. And I would tell her, I can't remember her name, I'm gonna call her Ethel, right? Ethel would say, I'd be like, I gotta leave a little early. And I did get in trouble behind that. I don't know if Ethel was hating on me or what, right? But I would tell her, girl, I gotta leave a little early because we're gonna go do X, Y, Z, right? Every day was a holiday. I remember it like it was yesterday. Every day initially when I met this man was like a holiday. Every day. And it got to a point where he said, you know, you can quit your job, right? What? Right? The love bombing. The love bombing is very, very important to understand. Because this is how they get you. And I've talked to and I've listened to watched other videos, been online, read other books, talked to other real people, real ladies. And not to say that a woman can't be a narcissist as well, but a man has more power over a woman than a woman has over a man. I like to think that, right? That this is what they do. Everything is wonderful. Everything is great. You're never said no to. You're never said no to, right? That's the part. As a woman, you wanna feel provided for. You wanna feel protected. You wanna feel somebody care enough about you to do everything you want them to do, right? It felt good. I'm not gonna lie to you. It felt good. It felt good. It felt good, right? Oh my God, my prayers have been answered, especially after the deep depression that I had been in, right? I had lost my career. And the deep depression that I had been in, he was welcomed, right? God has answered my prayer because I'm a good person, right? That's how you think. There was never a no. I remember I was having car problems, right? I was having car problems, and he called his friend. He wasn't a mechanical type guy, right? But he always had a friend he could call who would come right away and do whatever was needed, right? I remember I was having car problems. This was like in the first week. This was the first week of us knowing each other, right? He called one of his friends and he said, hey, what's that guy name that work on cars, right? He got the number. He called him. He said, hey, we'll be up there tomorrow, later on the day, whatever it was. And I remember going and thinking to myself, now, I ain't got no money to pay. Whatever's wrong, I ain't got no money to pay for it, right? And I remember calling my cousin. She was older than me. She's been my mentor all my life. And said, what do I do? What do I say to him so that he'll pay for my car? What's next? What do I do, right? And she said, don't worry about it. He got it. Right? And I guess she was older and wiser. She knew if he took you there, he gonna pay for it. I couldn't think like that. Mind you, I had been in a depressed state. All of my marbles was not even in my head, right? So he went in and talked to the guy. I sat in the car. You sit here. I got this. Again, this is what we want. We want a man that's gonna handle the business. You must be able to handle the business, and this is what he did. This was the first week, right? Mind you, we'd already been to a concert, we'd been out to eat several days, you know, all this. This is the first week or two, right? And he said, sit in the car. I sat in the car. He came back out. Now, mind you, I had to hurry up to call my cousin what to do, what I'm supposed to tell him. Like, you know, how can I trick him into paying for this? What I'm supposed to say, right? When he got in the car, he immediately said, don't worry about it. I got it. Oh, Lord have mercy. Yes, Lord. Thank you, Jesus, right? He got it. You know, usually you got to talk to somebody, you got to beg them, you got to promise them all kind of sexual activities or something, right? He said, don't worry about it. I got it, right? This is the love bombing phase, right? This is the love bombing phase where they will do anything that you want them to do that they can do. And for him, he never told me no. He never told me no. Now, he was a street guy. He got his money out in the world. He was an entrepreneur. So he would often say he just makes some more money tomorrow. So it was never, you know, it was never a big deal about, well, I got to wait till I get paid. You know, maybe in 2 weeks I got to pay the rent. I got to do. It was never any of that. So in my mind, again, I had hit the jackpot. This is it. Thank you, God. Thank you, Jesus. Oh my God. Remember, I had that prayer, had that conversation with the Lord, right? He knew nothing of this, right? It was just that he could sense, now that I can look back on it, he could sense that I was in desperado mode. I was in need of help. He could sense it. You know, any man that comes into your life, it wasn't like my house looked raggedy and we were looking raggedy and nothing like that, but he could sense it, right? I have a son I was still taking care of. He was in, I think, junior high. Was he in junior high? Yeah, he was in junior high, I believe, right? So, maybe elementary, but he was, I think he was in junior high. And so, yeah, I think he was in junior high. So, you know, just being a man, and he was older than me as well. He was older than me. He is about 7 years older than me, right? So that's a lot. He was 7 years older than me, much worldlier, much wiser than me, and much more cunning and manipulative, right? Because I wasn't going into it on no trickery. You know, I had asked God to send me my husband, send me the man I'm going to be with the rest of my life. And so I thought he was that, right? And this is the reason why I stayed so long. And as I talk about this more, you'll understand more. But like I said, he had everything. He was everything that I needed him to be when I first met him. He was everything. You know, didn't have to worry about food. We ate out a lot. You know, at the time I was going to hunger centers. I was on food stamps. Like I said, I had a drastic fall from grace, so I was on food stamps. I was going to hunger centers to feed my child. He was a boy. He was an athlete. I had several boyfriends, you know, to make sure he got his meals right. And so here comes this guy where I can relax and release and exhale. I thought I had won the man lottery, right? Like I said, as I go into detail in the upcoming videos, you will learn more and more of what a narcissist is, right? But like I said, the initial phase is love bombing. I had never heard of any of this stuff until I got my YouTube channel and I started doing research on it. And like I said, it was textbook. It was textbook, right? My next video, I will go further into the love bombing and with descriptions and what happened to me, right? I'm talking about this because we as women, even though women can be narcissists, but we as women need to be protected and we need to know we need to know the signs. Like I said, love bombing, and I will talk about the signs on the next video, okay? So, ladies, beware. If it seemed too good to be true, it might just be, okay? It might just be. Listen, guys, like, share, comment, subscribe. Also, I have membership. I have memberships available now, right? We will dig deep into this, right? This has been on my mind for quite some time now, and so now is the time that I can talk about it, okay? So, all right, guys, Everyone have a great evening, day, tomorrow, all of that good stuff. All right. Bye-bye.